Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to go into the background. I want to thank Professor Pelika for doing the introduction. That makes my presentation shorter than I'd anticipated. If you look at my title, I'm talking about dissemination. And this dissemination, we had to make preparation for it. We are doing research, and the data, the information has to be used by the intended beneficiaries. And in the intended beneficiaries, I think I wanted to define them so that we are on the same page and thinking. We have farmers, that is the largest component, the largest beneficiary group. We have extension workers, researchers, policymakers, scientific community beyond the researchers involved in the project. We have youths, we have journalists, we have development agents, and we have the general public. All had to be reached and to understand what CHIESA is going to do and the results and how to make use of our results. And what we started off to lay the foundation was to raise awareness at the community level, this broad spectrum of community level, about the planned CHIESA project activities. We started off in March 2011 with our planning workshop to fine-tune the project proposal. Our proposal took 3 years, from 2008 to 2010, before it was funded. So we needed to go back, call our stakeholders and partners, and discuss and fine-tune before we could start any activities. After that, we went into reaching our communities, and the really big objective of the activities we did in this session was to inform all our stakeholders about what we are going to do and to solicit for their cooperation. A lot of our activities are taking place in the field with farmers, where they also have different policies, different working relationships, and we needed to convince them that we are there to jointly work with them. We used a wide range of approaches. We had community meetings to reach farmers. We went as far as going into churches to announce CHIESA project activities in churches. We also went into what we call local government meetings. We produced brochures on the fact sheet on the CHIESA project, which were translated in different languages into Swahili, which is very common in East Africa. We did it in Amharic for the use in Chima, and also had some English versions for the general public who do not understand both languages. We also tried to make use of the mass media to cover our campaigns and all that. And the mass media, we had some information on TVs, newspapers, and radio. And in terms of reaching policymakers, we had one-to-one meetings to inform the policymakers in the respective transects. In Kenya, during the campaigns where we were trying to reach farmers and local leaders and youths, we managed to reach in 2 days 880 community members plus 115 school children. In Tanzania, where we used a combination of the media and churches and direct meetings, we managed to reach a bigger number. You can see here we reached over 4,000 community members. This took 3 days, and over 2,000 school children and school teachers. And to us, this was really very good because we had very good support of the media houses based in Moshi, Tanzania. In Jima, it was different. We only managed to have a meeting with a group of 42 farming communities. And I think I had a problem with the language barrier, being my first time, but that was an achievement. After that, then we had the Mosh project launch workshop that took place in April. This was purposely organized to bring all the stakeholders and partners together to move the project. This event was officially opened by the Minister of Agriculture in Tanzania with some remarks from you can see we had a very good participation. The female representative was still very low, 24% wasn't big, but that's what we could achieve. But this was really meant to bring the partners and stakeholders together for the first time before we went out in the field to conduct our activities. It had very large media coverage. Many of the participants were interviewed, particularly the work package leaders, and some of the scholars were interviewed, and this went out to reach the general public. Then we went into capacity building. The whole project is about capacity building. Africa we are disadvantaged in the sense that we are very much behind in terms of doing research on climate change and climate variability. The skills are missing, and so the first thing we did for us to move the project was to build capacity, particularly of young scientists. And we started off with training the scholars on the project. The project have 15 PhD scholars, 15 MSc scholars, 26% of them females. And we also had to consider researchers who are not directly within the project, but within the countries where this knowledge is also missing. So we started off, we had this setup of North-South, South-South collaboration, because there's technologies and skills that are available in the northern institutions like Helsinki and York University, which are not available in the southern universities. But we also had some knowledge among our universities within the University of Dar es Salaam and Sokoine. And together we tried to train our young scientists to prepare them to go out for research in the field. We also targeted another group, the media houses. The media houses to us are an important partner in the sense that they will help us to disseminate the results, particularly to politicians and the general public. But the problem we were facing was we didn't know how to train them or what they would be trained in. So we had a brainstorming training needs assessment workshop with the media based in Nairobi, and we identified that the real reason why they are not covering climate change related issues and reporting on them was because they lacked this confidence to go out and talk about it. We are using difficult languages for them, and so we agreed that if we are going to help them partner with us, we need to emphasize demystifying climate change, make them understand the politics of climate change, and also improve their reporting skills on climate change. And what we targeted the young scientists who are doing reporting on, science reporting on climate change. After that, then we started off with the dissemination. The dissemination also went into different directions, taking into consideration the different community members we have. We started off with the scientific community. We have a dedicated project website housed within ICIPE. That's one avenue for scientists and even the general public who want to know about what the CHIESA project is doing. We have the annual workshops, which are taking place in the different project countries on a rotational basis. The first one took place in Ethiopia, 2013. The second one took place in Nairobi this year. And during these workshops, we are also combining it to raise awareness and also to train young scientists from the national programs. We also have What's On newsletter as a platform for informing each other at the project level what we are doing, and that is available on the website as well, and you can visit it and see what is happening continuously. Still on the scientific level, we have done quite a lot, and we thought the way we can reach the scientific community is through presentations in workshops, both at local level, regional level, and international level. So far, we have done 14 by our scholars and the other researchers. We have already done 30 publications in internationally peer-reviewed journals, and I think that is really something which we are trying to raise awareness and to share our results. We are also targeting policymakers. These are very important. If anything is going to change due to the impact of the CHIESA activities, we need to be talking to our policymakers. And what we've done at that level, apart from inviting them regularly to our meetings, is also to prepare and distribute policy briefs. We've done 7, and these are due for review. We will be updating them very soon. And then we targeted farmers, extension workers, local administrators, and all that. And the first thing we thought about, which is very innovative, was how do we share our results to the farming community, to the extension workers who are out there in the field, to the local administrators. We came up with this idea of having community seminars. With the community seminars, the objective of this is to share our research findings and potential solutions to beneficiaries without having to wait for a long time until we process all the data. We share the preliminary results. And our target, as I said, we are looking at the farmers at the field level, extension workers, local administrators, policymakers, and media houses. And we've had several. The first one on a pilot scale, we did it in December last year in Kilimanjaro. 2 scholars, we convinced 2 scholars to go out and organize a community seminar. And we were assessing it and seeing how the reaction of the community and the feedback, and see how we can improve future seminars. It went very well. It was well attended. We had around 50 people attending that. And it was really very interactive. They gave us a lot of feedback, and that motivated us to organize more. The next one, we had it in Jima in May, also organized by scholars. We had another one in Kilimanjaro and Taita in September this year. We had quite a large number. We had 7 scholars making presentations in Kilimanjaro and Taita Hills, and that went very well as well. We have a planned one in Jima in October 15th. I got the date last night. That is now set on October 15th. And what is interesting about these seminars is that the communities were very excited, because normally researchers go out, collect their data, go away, write their thesis or their papers, and they never go back. They hear about what we did years later when we say, so-and-so was here and collected this data. The community commented that it is very interesting that you are sharing this data with us now, not later. But we want more information from you guys. Can you share this information? Can you share this information? I said, yes, we'll come back, and we are going to go back. But this was very interactive, and we are very happy with that. Still at the community level, we also had another platform where we are sharing information. I think Tino will give more details on that, where we have a combination of farmer representatives, policymakers, private sector, extension workers, and project partners and media to discuss and develop action plan for communities that is really community driven. And here was another platform where some of our scholars also made presentations to help the communities articulate the discussions and to understand better the climate change risks that we are supposed to address. Because I think there are a lot of changes taking place. And everybody said this is due to climate change, but what is really caused by climate change? That was another platform. And then we followed that, and because of these discussions we're having with farmers, there are now farmers who are making certain demands. Can you help us solve this problem? Can you give us information on this problem? So The first one was to train them in integrated pest management in vegetables and fruits. And for this, because we don't have ready answers coming from the CHIESA project at the moment, we worked very closely with CIPE-led IPM projects to take out the messages and solutions that farmers can put into use immediately. We organized a session in Taita Hills in June. We organized a session in Kilimanjaro in November last year. And the farmers, after this, the farmers requested for some more. So we are also planning on how to go back to them. We also have, to reach the general public, the project has participated in a number of agricultural shows and exhibitions. In 2012 and 2013, we participated on the Save the Earth exhibition in Nairobi, organized by the Kenya Meteorological Agency. And we had very good interest and and visitors at our stall. We also, this year in August, we participated in Tanzania Nane Nane Agricultural Show in Arusha, and that was very impressive because we got a free media coverage, and 2 of our scientists were given 5 minutes airtime on the radio to talk about CHIESA and our activities, our achievements, and where we are, and that was a plus for us. We didn't forget youths and schools, and we have had a number of activities with schools. We had the art competition to mark the Global Environment World Day last December, where we involved schools in art competition to help them understand the environment. We are using drawings. We gave them a theme. They made drawings that captured the environment, food production, infrastructure, recreation, and all that. And we got very good response from the schools. We had around 269 entrances, and 35 of them were selected as the best, and they were awarded certificates. We also went out to expose school science and geography teachers to new weather instruments. The CHIESA project has installed 4 automatic weather instruments along the transects in all 3 countries. And our idea was, if we train the school science teachers on how these new instruments works, then they can also use this knowledge to train, to expose their school children to the new instruments. And now, from this year, we started thinking about, and as a result of a discussion we had with communities about water quality, we are experimenting on using microinvertebrate to monitor water quality. What we are trying to do is to develop a simple tool that can be used by the layperson to monitor water quality, because it's a requirement. It came as a request from one of the planning sessions, particularly in Kilimanjaro. The last activity is involving 50 students, school children from ages of 6 to 16, and their teachers, and it's really very exciting what the kids are doing and how they are really going into this to try to discover their environment. Achievements, some achievements, we have made some achievements. I think the first achievement, and everybody will agree with me, is we have had very good community cooperation with the researchers. Everywhere you go in the transit, they know about CHIESA, they are willing to share information, they are willing to allow us on their land, and they are willing to answer our questions, and that, I think, is a plus. Our scholars, due to the trainings we gave, to give them the skills and to give them the technologies for climate change research, have been able to do effective research. Some of them are about to do the writing of their theses. Some of the MSc students have started graduating. Communities are able to articulate a demand for information from us. And I think by developing good rapport with the community, that's why they have confidence that they can demand for information. They can ask questions. They can look for us. And that is also a good achievement. for the first time, and I think it's very, you'll understand it if you come from where I come from. Where I come from, as a scholar, I'm not supposed to share my data with anybody until I've graduated. That is our culture, where I come from. We are trying to break that barrier by saying to our students, to our scholars, that it's okay to share your results with the farmers, with the communities, because then they can see the benefit of us being there. We are there to solve problems. There's no point holding on until you graduate and then you share your information. So what we've done here is really, and the scholars have been very positive because they've come out, made them some very good presentations to share their preliminary results with farmers and policymakers and the other stakeholders. To me, it's an achievement if you come from where I come from, that we have a different culture from what you have here in Finland. Still on achievements, environmental awareness among youths has improved a lot because of some of the activities we've done with them. And because, they're all also asking questions. I remember one of a 6-year-old who said, you gave an automatic weather station to that school. What about my school? I had no answer. I said, you have to go to that school to learn about it. He said, no, but that's far. So I think they are coming up with ideas. One other student said, how would CHIESA project help us get enough water? I had no answer. But then we tried to think about what can we do to give them some water. So we went into water harvesting experiments with them to show them that you can harvest a little bit of rain you get and store it and use it when there's no water in your environment. Our project has had high publicity through the internet, through the workshops we do, through the publications, through the interaction with the media and the meetings we've had with everybody. We have a functional dedicated project website that is accessible to everybody. And we have also improved the capacity of our national meteorological agencies to collect and more reliable data. I mentioned that we have, in each country, we installed 4 automatic weather stations, which is very abnormal in our situation. We have very few weather stations, and they're using this data in their forecast, so this is a very good contribution. But we have had, against this background, we have had quite a number of constraints. This, I've mentioned about this, that we have a time lag. It's a 4-year project, 48 months. We've just started. We are still collecting field data. We have not finished processing for us to package and disseminate. So dissemination of the results is still at its infancy. We have what I've mentioned as academic culture, where we are not sharing data until we have published or submitted our thesis. We also have unpredictable weather patterns. Some of our colleagues have not finished data collection because of the weather. They could not go out to collect data because if we expected it to rain, it did not rain. It was just dry, and so people are still there. As I mentioned, the project is 48 months, but climate change, to get an impact on climate change, takes several years, 10, 20, 30 years, and I think we are just beginning. We also had some, in terms of implementation, some stakeholders, there was some conflict of interest, like in the coffee. The coffee seems like a commodity belonging to one group of researchers. Nobody else can go and do research there. It took us a lot of time to convince them to allow us to go in and do the research. We had very little, despite the fact that we invested in the training of media, we had very little interest from them. We didn't see so much reporting apart from the reporting they did during the training or when you invite them. If you invite them, then they come. If you don't, then they don't come looking for stories. But then what are their future possibilities? I think our future possibilities are still open. We need to make use of lessons learned to scale up projects to other areas with similar ecosystems. We also need time to promote integrated ecosystem services technology for more climate resilience in current project countries before we can scale up. We need to complete processing of the data. One reason why we have not done effective dissemination is because data processing is still pending from many of the activities out on the field. And we also need to build local capacity to enforce existing rules and regulations on environmental protection. During the action plan development, we realized there exist regulations, but they're not being enforced. You ask why? They don't have capacity to do that. So we felt if we really want to make a difference, this activity has to be done at a stage, but I don't know how. And finally, the future we're talking about here in terms of climate change is not about me and you, it's about these youths, these kids, 20, 30 years to come. What sort of an environment are we going to live with them? What sort of climate are they going to cope with? With that, thank you so much.